Hello Internet, I'm Yali May, and it's time for another Death Battle! This time we have... Okay, bear with me on this. Roronoa Zoro from One Piece versus Erza Scarlet from Fairy Tail. If I didn't pronounce Zoro's first name correctly, I apologize. I'm not too familiar with the character. I've heard it pronounced that way, but I'm just going to refer to them as Zoro and Erza, like it is in the title. So, make it easier on myself. Anyway, as I should say with all my reaction videos, please click the link in the description below to go watch the actual episode itself. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Then come back to watch this video. Okay. Good. Support the official release. So how do I know these characters? Well, this is one of those occasions where I'm completely neutral in this fight. I said this on the podcast with me, Richard, Duo, Star, and LC Level, by the way. That I'm neutral. I don't have strong feelings one way. I don't have strong feelings the other way. I'm just going to sit back, learn about these characters, and enjoy. However, I did know somewhat about Erza beforehand. The only real thing I knew about Zoro was him in a 1-minute melee, and that he wields 3 swords at once, which is awesome. I will admit, the main reason I wanted to watch Fairy Tail in the first place... Okay, I'm a huge fan of Achievement Hunter, and I heard that guy on my poster, Michael Jones, voices a character in it, and I was like, oh, Michael voices a character in this, I want to check it out. For some reason I stopped, I don't remember why. I'll go back to it at some point. And I will watch One Piece at some point as well, it's just trying to find the time, and there is kind of a lot of it. But I have heard it's one of those shows where you can just jump into it at any episode, really. So, sounds good. And I have seen bits and pieces of it here and there, thanks to a friend of mine. But anyway, I have no clue as to who I think is going to win this fight. My gut says Zoro for some reason. So what I remember of Erza, she basically uses magic to summon all sorts of different kinds of armors and weapons, like, whenever. Which is awesome. I'm saying that now. My memory's a little fuzzy, okay? But I will learn things through Wisdom Boomstick, and I will make a decision on who I think is going to win. Anyway, how about I shut the hell up and hit play already? Might have been delayed a little bit, but it will be so worth it.
Past, present, or future, one kind of fighter has stood the test of time. The swordsman.
And today's combatants are 2 of the most skilled warriors to ever wield a blade.
Oh yeah.
Roronoa Zoro, the feared swordsman of the Straw Hat Pirates.
And Erza Scarlet, the battle mage of the
Oh yeah, this is
Fairy
our
Tail
first
Guild.
anime versus anime
He's
fight.
wearing an
I
arm
first
boomstick.
mentioned that.
And
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armors, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. No matter who wins, no one can say Screw Attack hates anime. I want to say that now.
Dreamed of becoming the greatest swordsman in the world.
No,
But
what you
he
got, Zoro?
didn't just enroll at a dojo. He showed up, challenged everyone, and then
Jesus.
just sort of stuck around.
Zoro's dojo training sharpened his natural talent with a sword, but there was one person he could never
Ugh.
quite manage to beat. His sensei's daughter, Kuina.
Oh,
They dueled a lot, and Kuina won every single matchup.
damn.
All 2001 of them.
Jesus.
Damn, you think you would have gotten at least one in?
Despite the constant defeat, Kuina and Zoro were very close friends. Together,
Oh.
they promised that someday one of them would become the world's best swordsman.
And then she fell down some stairs and died, which just seems
Oh,
like an unacceptable way for a master swordsman to bite the dust.
Does thin out the competition for world's best swordsman, though.
True.
Really,
mean,
Wiz?
That's how I became the world's best shotgun woodcarver.
After
Alright then.
Kuina's death, Zoro inherited her sword and used it to hone his
Hey, he's
skills
21 like me.
further, eventually leaving the dojo in search of the current title holder of world's greatest swordsman, Dracule Mihawk.
But he immediately got himself lost. With nothing better to do, he became a bounty hunter and wandered around the ocean until he ran into a weird, stretchy pirate.
Luffy.
You mean Monkey D. Luffy, who brought Zoro onto his crew of Straw Hat Pirates.
Actually worked out pretty well, since Luffy was already looking to hire him anyway. Turns out, Zoro has quite a reputation.
At this point, he was already a master swordsman, and after finding and training under Mihawk, his swordsmanship became legendary.
He created his own
Animation
fighting
looks good,
style,
I gotta say.
Sentoryu, also called three-sword style, because he uses 3 swords. One in each hand, and one in his freaking mouth.
Okay,
That
I was
doesn't
about to
seem
say
very
the same
safe.
thing, but whatever.
Oh, shut up, Wiz. Badasses don't care about safety.
Apparently.
Regardless, with the 3-sword style, Zoro can perform several unique attacks, including the
Alright.
Onigiri, where he strikes with all 3 blades at once.
Jesus.
Or the Tatsumaki, where he makes a tornado dragon.
By swinging
Wow.
his swords a certain way, he
Sounds
can fire
awesome.
compressed air projectiles toward an opponent, like with his deadliest technique, the 1080-pound cannon. And last but not least, he knows the Kyutoryu 9-sword style.
What the hell?
Did he just grow 4 more arms and 2 more heads? How the hell did he do that?
It's just an illusion, but it still somehow
Duh.
has physical presence.
He's like a human slap chop with a total of 9 swords.
That's one way to put it. In addition to his skills with a blade, Zoro is able to use Haki, a mysterious power that every living being possesses, but only a select few have learned how to use.
Haki, much like Neapolitan ice cream,
Okay.
comes in 3 flavors, and Zoro only has access to chocolate and vanilla.
I don't even. Well, one of those flavors is.
This is one way of
observation
explaining
Haki,
it.
That's vanilla.
Of course.
Okay.
Which in some ways is similar
Hey,
to
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's Spidey sense. Zoro can
Okay.
sense the location of other people, even if they're invisible or far away, and can also predict most opponents' attacks.
Then
That's
chocolate,
gonna help him a
everyone's
lot.
favorite Haki flavor is armament Haki. This lets him form an invisible armor around himself as protection, or harden his swords to make his strikes cut through almost anything.
That is
With
gonna help a
Haki,
lot.
Zoro has been a real asset to the Straw Hat Pirates. They've traveled the world and had a lot of weird adventures.
Like that time, Zoro fought a literal living mountain man named Pika, and
I think I
sliced him
saw this
clean in
clip
half.
somewhere.
A strike so powerful
Yeah.
it didn't just cut through Pika, it sent his top half flying upward. Considering
Jesus.
Pika's enormous size and approximate mass, this strike had to have been more powerful than the first ever deployed hydrogen bomb, the 11 megaton
Whoa.
Castle Romeo.
Also, Zoro's pretty damn fast. One time he moved so quickly he seemed invisible to a room full of highly trained assassins. And when the odds are against him, he'll keep pushing himself, even past the point of bleeding out.
Thus, he's powered through some incredibly intense pain, such as...
Oh god!
Holy shit! How the hell
Yeah,
is
that's
he
my
still
reaction.
standing after that?
That's a good question. After a battle with Kuma, a bear man because this is One Piece, Zoro took on not only his own
That's one way of
pain
putting
from
it.
near death, but also Luffy's, despite being told that doing so would surely kill him. But it just didn't.
Huh.
He doesn't even brag about it. What a badass.
Zoro
Yeah.
is definitely the stoic badass type, but he can't do everything. He's a sword fighter above all, and prefers to fight up close and personal.
He also has the world's
Alright.
shittiest sense of direction. He gets lost without someone there literally reading
Oh, okay.
the map for him, and could never survive on his own without his friends.
You might think Zoro would be
Never
more of a
underestimate the
lone
power of
wolf
friendship.
guy, but no. Much like how Kuina's death spurred him on to become a great swordsman, it's his friends who keep him fighting.
I set sail for only one reason, to meet you.
And what is your goal?
To beat you.
Alright, let's.
Erza Scarlet grew up in a
All right,
small
Erza,
rural town called
your turn.
Rosemary Village. It was pretty picturesque as far as childhoods go.
Hold on, Wiz, I'm getting a premonition. Despite everything seeming perfect, something terrible happens.
A murderous cult attack
It
to
always
destroy
does.
the city and enslave the children to build a tower to resurrect their evil overlord.
Maybe not this,
There
but
it is.
bad things always
Young
happen.
Erza was tortured, and while she may have
Unfortunately.
lost an eye in the process, she also gained a friend, Jalal Fernandez. He actually gave Erza her last name, Scarlet, after her red hair.
She and her buddies swore they'd
Okay.
escape, so Erza ended up staging a revolt and saved the other slaves thanks to discovering her latent magical powers.
Unfortunately, not everyone made it out.
Turns out Jalal got possessed by some spirit that made him a huge dick, and
Ugh.
she had to go without him.
Fine, if you want to leave so badly, then I'm not going to stop you. But you'll have to go alone.
After that nightmare, Erza swore to dedicate her life to helping and protecting the innocent, and so joined the Fairy Tale Magicians Guild. Luckily for them, she possessed a great skill set for a mage.
Her main thing is requip magic, which is basically like having an armory with you at all times.
Yeah,
without
this I
having to lug it
remember.
around.
Requip magic allows Erza
Vaguely,
to summon her vast
but I
array
remember
of
it.
weapons and armor at will, meaning she can use multiple combinations of swords, lances, and outfits all in one fight without ever really slowing down.
Damn, that'd be useful for all my weapons. How many's she packing?
She's rumored to have access to as many as 100 sets of armor and 200 weapons.
Damn.
Nice! As far as armor goes, her go-to is the standard Heart Cruise set. But there's also
What
the
was she
Heaven's
carrying?
Wheel armor, where she can send swords flying at people, the spiky defensive adamantine armor, and the Black Wing and Flame Empress armors, which have wings for flying.
Don't forget her
Naturally.
giant armor, which she uses with a lance, purgatory armor, which has a lot of spikes, and seduction armor? I'm not really sure what purpose this serves.
Probably to make enemies
That.
terribly aroused. Ever tried to fight with an erection whiz? Believe me, it's not easy.
Right. Well, Erza claims her most
Okay.
powerful armor is the Armadura Fairy armor, which is very pink.
These are fancy,
Well, lightish
and all,
red.
but sometimes she doesn't even bother suiting up. If her back's against the wall, Erza equips her Clear Heart clothing. This enhances her speed and attack over defense, and channels all her magical energy into her katanas for a decisive blow.
She
Jesus.
can charge magic through her swords to perform all sorts of magical attacks, even mixing and matching weapons and armors to better her chances in a fight.
She's also just really good at sword fighting. Actually, she's really good with a lot of weapons, including hand-to-hand.
All of this makes Erza an excellent addition to the Fairy Tale Guild. She quickly became one of its highest-ranking mages and was the youngest member to ever pass the S-Class Mage Promotion test. An incredibly difficult gauntlet only the strongest and wisest of warriors can even attempt.
Speaking of achievements, she's pretty friggin' strong. Don't believe me? Well, here she is, lancing a hole through a giant floating cube.
This cube was
Wow.
about 100 million cubic miles in volume. To punch through it, Erza's lance must have dealt about 16 kilotons of force.
Erza's also fast enough to deflect bullets point blank from a flintlock pistol. Guns with a muzzle velocity of about 540 miles per hour. And that's without a speed boost from her armor.
Right, many of her armor sets grant her stat boosts, increasing her speed, magic, defense, etc. She's survived plenty of destructive blasts, including one that blew up an island. Considering that island's size, that's an explosion equivalent to 2 kilotons of TNT.
So she's sexy,
Jesus.
can survive island-busting attacks, and has a shit ton of weapons? She's basically perfect. Just wish she used a gun or two.
Well, she may have a vast armory, but swapping them in and out requires magic, and she can run her supply down if she's not careful.
Okay.
It's just like a mana bar in those fantasy games you always play.
Exactly. Though even when she's out
Fair
of
enough.
magic, she's still quite deadly in hand-to-hand. Like when she fought her alternate self from another parallel universe.
That universe has a lot less clothing. Sign me up!
But when you're among the best in the guild, you get the job done no matter the limits.
I will withstand any physical pain to protect the ones that I love.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
It's time for a death battle!
Wait and pause. Okay. After hearing everything Wiz and Boomstick said, I am still having a hard time deciding on who I think is going to win. They both sound incredibly powerful and deadly. They both can deflect bullets, like it's no problem. They both can equip themselves. Zoro and his hockey, I believe it was. Yep. And also with all the different armors that she has. So they've both got that going for them. They both survived unbelievable things. Just had some great feats. Part of me is leaning more towards Erza just because I feel like it might be because I heard about her stuff more recently, but I don't know. Part of me still thinks Zoro, but then part still thinks Erza. I kind of want to just flip a coin right now. But, speaking of... Oh, I don't have one in here. Damn it. I think I'm gonna go with my gut, because sometimes that does work out for me, and say Zoro's going to win. I don't know entirely how, because this does sound like a really close fight to me. Actually, they mentioned the Erza, while she can equip many different kinds of weapons and armors, which does give her a huge diverse advantage. At least I think that. But if it drains her magic supply, then that might screw her over in the long run a little bit. I don't think they said Zoro has like a... I assume he would have a start limit, it's just I don't remember it being mentioned. Maybe it was in the sidebars or something and I missed it, I don't know. But I feel like that could be the key here, maybe? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go with Zoro, because reasons. I don't have a preference here, I'm just saying I think Zoro's going to win. I don't really know why, I'm just gonna stop rambling and watch this fight. And play.
Oh, sorry, lady. Could you point me in the way of the shipyard? I've been looking around for hours.
Oh, damn. Oh, right, the bounty on him.
You're the one I'm looking for. Come peacefully and you won't be harmed.
Sorry, I'm busy. Maybe later.
We'll have to do this the
I like
hard
that.
way.
I told you, I'm busy! Fine! Well, I guess we're doing this now.
I like the guy who's voicing him. And his animation was so far, bloody hell.
What?
You're coming with me.
Wait, would he get distracted by the armor,
Neat
the...
trick.
You know. Oh, and Erza can fly, of course, so... You're on fire, dude.
I'm laughing at this!
This fight is awesome!
You are strong,
Nice.
tyrant. But this is true strength.
Oh. Well. Ooh.
Fool. Nothing is worse than the loss of life.
Don't start crying, woman.
What?
So much for all that true strength bullshit, huh?
Ooh.
No. I can do this. I will claim this bounty for my
Oh, he's gonna
guild,
bring up the
for my
nine
strength,
sword thing,
for
isn't
my
he?
friends.
Bring it on!
There it is!
You're not the only one who fights for their friends!
Oh. Okay, this is so awesome. Oh! Damn!
Now, where the hell is that shipyard?
Okay then.
Jesus, talk about a killing blow.
In the
Yeah.
past, Erza could react to projectiles flying over 500 miles per hour, but Zoro could move faster than the eye could see. U.S. Air Force tests have shown that a well-trained human eye can consistently spot and recognize an image in 1/220th of a second. So, in this case, Zoro would have had to move from point A to point B, which is about 57 feet, in 4.5 milliseconds. That's
Jesus.
close to 9,000 miles per hour.
That's more than 5 times
Oh,
faster
yeah.
than a bullet.
How can I
Erza
forget about
didn't
that?
really rely on speed anyway, and there's no evidence any of her armor magic could have helped close that wide of a gap.
Speaking of her armor, Erza did have more options in defense and weaponry. Unfortunately for her, she was simply outclassed in damage dealt.
Erza could withstand hits of about 2 kilotons, like the blast which destroyed that island. But Zoro has dished out much stronger blows than that.
Slicing
Please
Pika
explain.
in half, for example, was equivalent to 11.5 megatons. That's
Oh.
about 6,000 times bigger than anything Erza has survived. And while Erza's
Okay.
artificial eye may have seen through Zoro's 9-sword style illusion, it couldn't prevent him from actually attacking her.
She also had that habit of stripping down to clear hard clothing in a bind. Yeah, it gave her more sword power, but at the cost of less defense. This sounded like a good idea on paper, but close-range combat was Zoro's bread and butter.
Urza was
Makes
mostly
sense,
self-taught, and while proficient with a blade, Zoro has trained with swords all his life. Even with the greatest swordsman
Very
in
true,
the world,
yeah.
an up-close duel was exactly what he was looking for.
Guess she won't be getting a fairy tale ending.
The
Ah,
winner is
that was a good
Zoro.
one. Congrats, Zoro. Alright, is the next time where I think it is?
Death battle.
What the fuck?
Hey guys, I'm Chad. I'll play Boomstick. I'm Ben.
Deadpool's coming
Next
back?
time, Deadpool is back. Oh god. And we're doing something a little different this time. We're going to be announcing his opponent on the Death Battle cast, which if you haven't heard is a thing. We launched a podcast
Okay.
called Death Battle where we hang out, talk fights, and goof around. It's a lot of fun. Go check it out. Thanks, guys.
Okay, before I... But... Okay. I really want to talk about it next time, but I have to talk about that fight. That was amazing. I'm honestly torn as to what I think might be my favorite, like, 2D fight in terms of, like, quality of animation, just absolute epicness. It's either this or Ken versus Terry. Animated by the same person, by the way. Clearly did good. I still love the like, humor in this, too, especially with Zoro noticing that he's on fire, and I don't know why I found that so funny. I will admit, like, as the killing blow was coming up, you have that whole classic, like, slash, like, I was just thinking, okay, who? I was trying to keep track of both, and then just, as it goes, which is unfortunate for her, but, yeah, what can you do? Alright, next time. I thought it was going to be Galactus versus Unicron at long last. Because they've said, we're going to do that fight again and again. And I heard from somewhere that they confirmed it was going to be this year. Yeah, this is the last Death Battle of the season. So I thought, okay, that means the next time has to be that. It has to be. So I was really surprised to see Deadpool. I mean, who can he fight aside from Deathstroke? Actually, I have seen people request him to fight Dante. That could be a very... That could be an amazing fight, knowing Torian. And probably very funny too, knowing both Deadpool and Dante. Anyway, I am going to end the video there. So, as I usually say, thanks for watching, all that stuff. Here is my special outro. Bye.
Hello loves, Tracer here. You've just watched a video by your only mate. Subscribe, like, comment and check out his other stuff. Cheers loves!